People think there's a shortcut to streaming. That's why they be doing all these crazy things. You're not talking about how can you be more entertaining. You're not talking about how can you commentate better. How can you entertain people more? If you're always trying to look for results that doesn't come from within you, you're never gonna succeed. From what I gather from what you've told me so far, because you're so focused on chat, on viewers, like if you don't have those two, you don't feel like a streamer. You're kind of focused on the wrong things, and you're kind of like doing the things that you're doing, like streaming on Trovo and Twitch, to kind of get those things to make you feel better about yourself as a streamer. It's kind of like you're using it as a crutch. You're not a legitimate streamer without like some help from like, you know, trying to restream from other platforms and things like that. So far, I don't think you've been listening to my advice, because you're still talking about views, you're still talking about chat. That means like those things are your main focus. That means you're not talking about how can you be more entertaining. You're not talking about how can you commentate better. How can you entertain people more, right? You're not talking about how to do like better art branding, right? So basically, let me try to like put this into a metaphor, right? Like if you open up a restaurant, what should you focus on, right? You should focus on your food being good. You should focus on your service being excellent, right? You focus on the cleanliness of your store, right? Focus maybe on like trying to advertise your stuff, put out some flyers, put out a 2-for-1, right? Those are things you're supposed to focus when you open up a restaurant. You're not supposed to focus on how many people are coming into the door, because that is something you cannot control, right? You can't control like who will come in, who will say whatever they want to say in chat. You can't focus on those, and focusing on those will not give you any benefit. Focusing on what you can control, like your quality, your commentating, your entertainment, things like that, those things will help you, right? And eventually the people will come. Eventually your chat will be popping. But every time you just focus on the wrong things, you don't improve yourself. That's why you're always talking about chat, on views, you're talking about other platforms. That's because you need external validation to make you feel better. You can't do that. If you want to be like a straight up very good streamer, you have to do this without any external validation. You have to be on your ball game even if nobody's watching you, if nobody's in your chat. That is a person that will succeed. They don't give a fuck about people like validating them. Right now, you're really focused on the validation. That's why you're always talking about numbers and all that. Maybe what I'm saying is not really who you are as a person. You can feel free to disagree, but I'm just basing up my entire hypothesis on basically what you're telling me. So I want you to succeed. I want everyone to succeed, but not everyone is meant to succeed. The other thing about streaming is people don't realize like how much of a grind it is, right? They think like, oh, my first 2 weeks, I'm supposed to be affiliate. My first month, I'm supposed to be a partner. That's what people imagine streaming is like in their heads. It doesn't work that way. So even if you try your hardest, even if you're a very entertaining streamer, there is a little bit of luck involved, which means that you kind of have to be at the right place at the right time, seen by the right people. You should also like know that sometimes the stuff that comes out go viral without you even knowing it. So there's an element of luck. But a lot of times people don't want to admit that besides the work, besides the luck, people always think there is one more like avenue, which is like, yo, let me restream this. Yo, let me try to like constantly promote my stuff on other people's channel. People think there's a shortcut to streaming. That's why they be doing all these crazy things like, yo, let me try to like other platforms. Yo, let me try. That's because they are looking for results, right? If you're always trying to look for results that doesn't come from within you, you're trying to look for results like the numbers, the stats and whatnot, you're never going to succeed. Trust me, bro, you're never going to succeed because you're never going to work on the skills that help you achieve greatness. You're not going to work on your commentating. You're not going to work on your interactivity with chat. So work on yourself, you know, stick to one thing, build your brand. Every day, try to think about your channel like, yo, what can I add to make people like connect with me better? Yo, what can I do to let people know that I care? What can I do to let people know that I don't just treat them as a number? What can I do to let people know that I am a genuine person? I'm an authentic. I don't have a filter. Like whatever you see about me is what you get. People feel authenticity. Let me just put it that way. Whenever people are streaming for the numbers or they're streaming just for fame or money, they don't come off as real, right? Because people can sense you have an ulterior motive, right? So back then when I was streaming, I used to kind of have that mindset of like, yo, I'm doing this for the fame and the money. So whenever someone comes into my stream, I put on this like very fake act. Yo, welcome. You know, I hope you stay here. I hope you watch my streams, things like that. And people can sense that neediness, right? Even if you think you're not needy, the way your body language communicates that will give you away. The way you blink, the way you like say your sentences, like the way you say like hi guys or hi guys or hi guys or hi guys or it's all different. It's all like internal. The way you say certain things will change based on how you think and how you feel on the within. So you may think that you're not needy, but if you have the wrong focus, whatever you're doing, whether it's commentating, whether it's entertaining people, will come off as wrong. Trust me, you won't make it. Yeah, like I said, man, it's like, yeah, you can't expect anything if you play it as a hobby, right? That's a cop-out. Usually when people say like, oh, it's a side hustle, it's a hobby, it's a cop-out, it means like they're not really into it seriously and they're trying to like find ways they can worm their way for it to become successful. And that definitely happens, but it doesn't happen to everyone. It happens to 0.0001% of people, right? And even if they get that sudden like viral thing, that one of their clip like blows up, they don't know how to ride that train, right? So for example, there's a difference between being successful later on in life and being successful early on. So you may be doing whatever you're doing right now. You may be like, oh yeah, I'm just chilling. I'm just a side hustle, just a hobby. And you may be successful. You might get something viral. You might be popping, all that, but you wouldn't have the experience to ride that train all the way. You wouldn't know what to do to maintain that level. People will eventually forget about you. People will be like, yo, this guy ain't shit, whatnot. But if you are one of those people who only get success later on, like you really have to work through so many years to get there, you can kind of like maintain that because you kind of have the knowledge of what to do while you're like on top. That is why when people hit the lottery, like most of the times they go broke or they end up dead because they don't know what to do with the money. You know what I'm saying? Like people who work for the money, they don't become a millionaire overnight. They know all the steps that they have to do to maintain that money. They know they have to reinvest it. They know they have to have a financial advisor. They know they have to lock away the money and don't even look at it. They know they have to do all these things. Like those people deserve the money. Whereas like people who just strike the lottery, they will get seduced by, all these people who are suddenly coming out of the woodwork, right? And, they never had this money in their whole life. So they are like, they go crazy with it. And a lot of times people think that they need success like right now. And of course, I wish everyone success. Like I wish I was successful right now. But I think there's a difference getting success like really early and getting success later. So saying that what you're doing is a side hustle or, you're just doing it as a hobby, it's kind of a cop-out so that if you fail, it doesn't seem that bad. And the problem with it is like failure in general is only dictated by what you think it's a failure. So even if you got like 5 viewers or you got like some people talking chat, that is a success if you deem it as a success and you got to kind of push it forward. So Josie's Alpha Gaming stream creator YouTuber said building a YouTube channel is better to grow a community. Would you say that's true? Okay, so here's the thing. Like I watch Alpha Gaming's videos and I agree with what he says a lot of times, but I think like he doesn't really go like super in depth into what he's talking about, right? So a lot of things that Alpha Gaming said was like, yo, you got to like expand on other platforms to get people to discover your channel. And I agree with that. That's why I started an Instagram. That's why I started a YouTube channel. That's why I post content regularly there. But what he doesn't really like talk about is people on YouTube expect a certain quality. People on Instagram expect a certain quality. People on Twitch expect a certain quality, right? So all those avenues are like, imagine Twitch is like a burger joint. YouTube is like pizza. Instagram is like hot dogs. TikTok is like Chinese food. Just because you're good at making burgers doesn't mean you'll be good at making pizza. Or let's say you're good at making pizza, you're not as good as making hot dogs. They require a certain level of touch when it comes to content creation. Like content creation on YouTube is a whole nother ballgame because you got to get good with your video editing skills, your thumbnails, your tags, your captions. For example, right? Like, can you do a YouTube thumbnail like this? So it's not that easy to blow up on YouTube either. YouTube is like a whole nother ballgame on its own. And if you have a fan base on YouTube, you definitely can bring that over to Twitch. But it's not that easy. So Alpha Gaming is saying that you should try all those different avenues is because he's good with all those different avenues. He's good as a YouTuber. He's good with TikTok. He's good with Twitch. He's good all across. If you're trying to grow your channel, your Twitch channel, but you're not even good as a Twitch streamer, you might not even be as good as a YouTuber. You're really focused on trying to make it, but you don't realize that there's a time constraint to it. You have to put in the work, right? Like every time back in the day when I used to feel like I'm not successful enough, like, hey man, why I'm not big enough? I compare myself with bigger streamers and I look at the amount of hours that they stream and I can't even touch like 1% of the amount of hours they stream. So do not compare your success with somebody else's success unless you have streamed the amount of hours that they have, you have outputted the amount of content that they have, you have outputted the amount of quality that they have. It's a lot of work. It's not simple. Telling yourself to create a YouTube channel to bring people over or creating like Instagram to have people come over, it's a pipe dream. It sounds very nice. That's why you prescribe to that method, right? But the real shit, being entertaining, being good at commentating, being good at creating thumbnails, being a good content creator, it's a lot of hard work. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, try all your different shit, restream it on multiple platforms, try all your different content. And once you're done with all of that, you are still going to come back to the original square part of the thing. You have to be a good content creator. You have to start streaming correct. And the first thing that you fuck up is you don't have the good reason to do this. You have to start streaming because this is a performance, right? This should make you happy. Like being a better entertainer makes you happy. Like this is one of the main things that can push you to the top. I think you probably heard of this before. Success is based off opportunity and hard work, right? So that is what luck is made of, opportunity and hard work. So even if the opportunity arrives, if you don't put in the hard work, you cannot receive the opportunity, right? If you do not learn how to be an entertaining streamer, you don't learn how to commentate, you don't learn how to make thumbnails for YouTube, you don't learn about like encoding or even tags, captions, things like that, you miss out the hard work. Opportunity is much more rare. These things are like shooting stars. They come in like bits and pieces, and sometimes you don't even know they're coming. So sometimes when an opportunity comes, but when your hard work is solid, you're ready to receive it. Imagine what happens when Twitch is on the lookout for the next streamer that they want to promote, the next streamer that they want to partner, right? That's an opportunity, right? But you haven't put in the hard work. You haven't created your channel art. You haven't bought yourself the right equipment. You haven't worked on your commentating skills, your entertainment skills. You have a very fragmented community on Twitch or whatever platform because you're spread out too thin. You can't receive the opportunity because you haven't put in the hard work. So talking about your views, your chats just makes you a sucker, bro. Don't even talk about any of that. Talk about what you can do to improve. What can you do to make yourself better? This opportunity will come, but because you're not ready to receive it, it's just going to pass you and you have to wait for the next bus. Find one platform that you really care about and work on it. Don't work on just like, oh, let me work on all these platforms and suck on all of them. Don't be that dude, man. Pick one platform. I don't care whether it's YouTube, whether it's Twitch, whether it's Instagram. Pick something and master it. Be very good at it. And once you're pretty decent with it, try to branch out and try to like make your main platform of choice grow. So it's a pipe dream when you say like YouTube, yo, let me get that YouTube people to come over. Yo, let me get that Instagram. Yo, pick one platform, get really good at it first. And then maybe we can talk about like, maybe we should edit some content for YouTube and all that. Yeah, Restream service will only hurt you. I can tell why you do it at first, right? Because when you do it at first, it's very enticing. Instead of like having viewers or chats from one platform, you have it from multiple platforms, right? So even if you're streaming on Twitch and not a lot of people are viewing you there, you get a little bit from Trovo, you get a little bit from other platforms because you're restreaming it. But at the end of the day, even if you make it one day, you have a very fragmented fan base. You have to like gather all of them eventually and put them into like one. If it were me, I would say don't restream, right? But as I've always mentioned that I think there are like many ways to success. So if you really believe in Trovo and you feel like there's something to it that I don't even understand, I would recommend you don't listen to me and do whatever you believe in. Because if whatever you believe in is correct, I might join you. It's not beyond me that if you're doing something correctly, I wouldn't follow you. I will always follow the best method of, reaching the top. But as it stands, from my knowledge and my experience of streaming, I wouldn't restream because it affects my brand. But if you believe it, by all means, don't let me stop. But I'm just telling you, bro, the reason you're streaming on Trovo is because the people on Trovo are like giving you better feedback. You're getting whatever you want, like bits and pieces. It's kind of like the difference between like going to medical school, studying for 4 years, working really fucking hard so that at the end of the tunnel, you're accepted by your peers. Or you could join a gang today and immediately be accepted, right? So you seem to be someone who's into quick gratification. You want things to happen for you right now. And maybe Trovo is giving you what you need. But in the long run, Trovo might not even be here. And all your efforts streaming on that platform will be wasted. Because just like Mixer couldn't survive even though it's backed by Microsoft, I don't know what Trovo is going to be like in the next 1 to 2 years. So you may be getting that quick gratification, but your efforts might be a waste. Twitch is the long game. Like you don't get popular over here overnight because it's very saturated. There are a lot of like top creators here. There are a lot of people streaming. But if you stick with it, just like you stick with medical school, you learn the skills, you really try hard, you create your channel branding. I believe that if you make it on Twitch, it's way more cooler than making it on Trovo. And that is if Trovo even exists later in 1 or 2 years. So don't focus on the short-term gratification because it means that you don't have the personality to succeed. That is a test they do on little kids, right? Like one of the tests they do for little kids to tell if they will be successful individuals is they will put a cookie on the table, right? And they'll tell the kid, hey, if you wait for 2 minutes, you get 2 cookies. And the kids that tend to wait to get the second cookie, they are willing to put down the short-term gratification for the long term. They tend to be more successful in life. They tend to be better in school, better with like, you know, people and all that. That's because they're willing to suffer a little bit for the greater good. And the kids who immediately eat the first cookie without waiting for 2 minutes for the second one, they are kids who are more into short-term gratification. They don't tend to succeed in life because they always go for what feels good at the short term rather for what makes sense in the long term. Basing on what you are always talking about, whether it's views, whether it's chats, whether it's Trovo, you seem to be the person who is into short-term gratification, right? I may be wrong. I'm making a judgment call based on like a few words you type in chat, but that's what I think. What are your thoughts on reruns? I wouldn't recommend it either. I would say if people would like to watch your content, they can watch it on the VOD on Twitch, or you can let them watch it on YouTube, which is what I do. I upload my VODs on YouTube so people can watch it. Yeah, Fushi is right. Reruns only work for big streamers. And also, I believe, okay, this is my theory. I haven't heard this from anyone, so I'm gonna drop some gems for you right now. There is a thing of too much of a good thing is bad. So no matter how entertaining you are, no matter how dope your commentary is, no matter how good something is, if people like experience it too much, they eventually get bored of you, right? So reruns will exemplify that. People will get bored of you. Even though your shit is like dope, they don't mind rewatching your reruns. Sometimes when you don't have a stream going on and you leave like an open space for people to miss you, even like behind the scenes, you're like editing videos, you're trying your best to create content, it's a good thing. So reruns are not the best, in my opinion. Reruns kind of communicate to your audiences that you're thirsty for their attention. So even while you're not streaming, you need them to pay attention to you. Like, why do you need the views for a video that you already did? You already like, you know, just put it on YouTube. Let people choose whether they want to watch your shit. The moment you try to take away that choice and like they're always like, yo, even if I'm not streaming, I'm gonna like push my content out there, like force you guys, yo, to think that you're live so that they can, yeah, that's neediness. I mean, PewDiePie is on another level, right? Like he's like the #1 guy. And I would say like if there's anything to take from PewDiePie is the fact that he is incredibly consistent with his content. Even though he's already like a multi-millionaire, he still uploads on like a regular weekly schedule. That dude has drive. And if you look at his career trajectory ever since when he first started to where he is now, he has never ever faltered, right? There are probably moments where he has taken some time off, and I highly recommend, you know, you guys take time off. But he's been very all about the content. Like he doesn't stop trying to be more entertaining. And think about it, right? Like he's always trying to create a brand and an identity with his channel. I'm gonna do a few things from Pewds and like let me know if you feel this is iconic. How's it going, guys? It's PewDiePie, right? That's one, right? And when he ends every video, he's like, yo, brofist. So those are things that he focused on to create an identity and brand with his channel. Now, if you are trying to be successful on that level, ask yourself, well, what is your shit? And if you don't have one and you're still complaining, yo man, I'm doing this for the views or for the chat. Yo, I'm doing this because I like people, bro. I like my fans. Dude, get the fuck out of here, you know? Yo, just keep telling yourself it's a side hustle. It's a hobby, you know? It'll always be a hobby. Joe, the next time you come onto my stream, I don't want to hear you talk about numbers. I don't want to hear you talk about like chat or viewers and stuff like that. I want to hear you talk about what can you do to improve. Like, how can you make shit more exciting? What can you do for your art? What can you do for your people? Don't focus on the views and all that shit. And you gotta be real with yourself. So if you are not very good with the your gameplay, you're not like Shroud, you're not fucking destroying everyone, right? That means like there is a lack in your gameplay versus your personality. As a person like Shroud, you don't really need a personality because your gameplay can carry you through. But even like someone like Shroud has a personality. Like he's actually really funny, he's entertaining, he's like fun to watch, right? So if you seriously lack in your gameplay, you gotta make it up in other parts of your stream. Like, are you making your people laugh? Are you having a good time? And this is like one final tip before I go grab some water because I'm totally out. Everything about streaming and being a content creator, it's not so much about the content as it is as much about the energy. When you're streaming or when you're talking to people or when you're like putting content out there, don't think about it as in like, yo, is it funny or is it entertaining? You gotta think about it, is it energetic? People watch streams for energy. Like I find myself, when I used to be a viewer, I used to watch streams because like I would feel really down about my day. If I watch someone who's like, hey guys, yeah, oh no, I just died. Like, yo, hey, yo man, how's it going? Yeah, it's just me. It's just like, that is someone I wouldn't watch. I want to watch someone who is like, yo, how's it going, guys? Today we're going to be playing Final Fantasy VII Remake. What's happening in chat, Joe? Talk to me, bro. It doesn't matter what you say. It's about what the energy is when you give people. In this world, there is an equivalent exchange. If you want people to like you, you want people to support you, you have to bring in the energy. You got to be like, yo, man, this is what I'm talking about. You got to be about that life. You can't just like talk about that life and not be about it. You know what I'm saying?